What's good, YouTube fans? I filmed you a brand new video. It's week 15 thoughts and predictions, starting with the first game, the Niners and Seahawks. The Niners won 21-13. The Seahawks continue to go downhill. The Niners continue to look pretty good, pretty solid. They don't have Debo. I'm not sure when he's coming back. I forget. But Niners locked up the division after that win, so they are going to be the 2 or 3 seed, depending on what happens with the Vikings right now. And the Seahawks are going to barely make the playoffs if they could, and it's only if the Giants continue to play bad that they can make it, and the Seahawks could get a couple more wins. Other than that, they're not even going to make the playoffs, so that's not good for them. Then go into the next game, which is the Saturday games, actually, which was the Vikings-Colts, which was the craziest game because the Colts blew a 33-point lead. It was 33-0 at half, and they lost 39-36. They scored 3 points in the second half. And the Vikings absolutely dominated in the second half. Kirk 1 o'clock Cousins remembered it was 1 o'clock, decided to go nuts, and he won them the game. It was absolutely insane. That was the largest lead blown in NFL history. So Matt Ryan was on the wrong side of 2 largest leads, one in the Super Bowl and one in just overall. So rip to him because he's only going to get remembered by losing those big leads. The next game, not much going on, but the Browns beat the Ravens 13-3. The Ravens didn't have Lamar, and that just shows why he needs to get paid because they are a terrible team without him. Browns are also not a good team, but they end up getting the win because the Ravens, they don't have Lamar, and Lamar's the team. Then the night game was the Bills-Dolphins. The Bills ended up winning, barely came out of it, won on a game-winning field goal. That game was hyped up to be like this crazy snow game. I was super psyched to see a snow game. It didn't snow until about the fourth quarter. The only good parts about it was that the fans were throwing snowballs on the field, and they actually had to pause the game because of it. And then they said, if the snowballs hit a player, it's a 15-yard penalty on Buffalo, which is hilarious. It's absolutely crazy. Now let's start with the 1 o'clock games. The Saints-Falcons. Saints won 21-18. I honestly did not get a good look at this game at all. The Eagles were playing most of that time. That game was going on, so I didn't really see it at all. But Saints won, which isn't good for them, but technically now they are still in the hunt for that division because that division is so awful. The Falcons pretty much needed that because they could have had the division, but they benched Mariota because I think that was their plan to go into the bye and bench him. But like they're still in playoff contention, so I probably would have started if I was them. Then the next game, my Eagles versus the Bears. Oh, it was an awful game. The Eagles played terrible. They played absolutely awful, but they came out with the win, and that's all that matters. I mean, it wasn't a good win, and you shouldn't be happy about it, but they got the win, and that's what matters. Like, they got the win. That's all I wanted. It wasn't pretty, but you gotta focus on Dallas this week. The Bears, they weren't a good team. They just got a couple good turnovers. Justin Fields is a great running back. He's probably the best running back right now. Like, he is so good at running the ball. He is not good at passing. If you say he is, you're stupid and you're delusional. Fuck you. And for anyone that was saying Jalen Hurts is a system quarterback, like Micah Parsons was saying, you're fucking stupid because guess what? When Jalen Hurts looked bad, the team played awful. When Jalen Hurts looked good, the team played great. That's pretty valuable, you fucking retards. And the next game was the Steelers-Panthers. The Steelers won 24-16. That's another game I didn't really get to see much of. The Steelers ended up winning. I mean, it was pretty easily because the Panthers are awful. Sam Darnold's awful. Trubisky ended up catching that dub, so that's going to be one of the last dubs he gets all year because he's awful. I mean, they're in a rough patch. They're gonna end up winning about 7 or 8 games, and then they're gonna have a terrible pick. So, hey, if that's what you like to do as a Steelers fan, hey, you have fun with that. Then the next game, them gritty Lions, man. What did I tell you? They making the playoffs. 20-17 against the Jets. The Jets are terrible. Zach Wilson's terrible. All right, the Jets aren't terrible. Let me rephrase that. Zach Wilson is awful. The Jets are a good defense, pretty good weapons. They're a solid team. They should make the playoffs. They won't make the playoffs because of Zach Wilson. But if Mike White could come back, they could probably rat off a couple wins. But it's going to be a tough road for them. It's not easy. They're not. It's not a cakewalk. They got a couple games to play. Then the next game was the Chiefs-Texans. The Chiefs barely escaped that one. They played a bad game. That game ended up going to overtime, and they got lucky to get out of that one. That was kind of like the Eagles game where it was like they were just lucky. They ended up getting that win. It's like that's just what you're asking for. They got the win. That's fine. It wasn't a good win, but they got it. That's all that matters. And then the final game of the 1 o'clocks, the greatest game of the day. The Jags beat the Cowboys, but it wasn't just that they beat them. It was how they beat them. The Jags drive down at the end of the fourth quarter to get a field goal. Barely get it. There's like 5 seconds left. They get the timeout. They kick the field goal. They get it. They make it. They go to overtime. They get the ball. I think it was 3-and-out. I missed this part. I think it was 3-and-out. So the Cowboys get the ball. So you're thinking, damn, they're going to go down and get a field goal. They're going to win the game. Dak throws a pick six to end it. It was absolutely great. Now, I will say, it was not Dak's fault. It hit off the receiver's arm and it bounced up. But still, it was a pick six. It was the greatest ending to the Cowboys game I could have asked for. It was absolutely fantastic. I love it. Now for the 4 o'clock games, the Bengals-Bucks. Bengals won. They were down 17-3 at one point. Ended up pulling off the win. Ended up winning 34-23. So they actually slaughtered them after that. I mean, watching Tom Brady lose is the greatest thing ever. Him being mad is awesome. I absolutely love it. It's a great thing to watch. And the Bengals, man, they are mad good right now. They are looking filthy. They are looking like the team to beat in the AFC. The next game, one of the most boring games you could ever think of, the Broncos-Cardinals. Both starting quarterbacks are hurt. Cardinals' backup quarterback is also hurt. I mean, it was an awful watch. It was 24-15. I barely even paid attention to that game because I had no desire to watch it. Those are two really bad teams, and I really don't care. Both teams are looking for the future, and their future is not going to be very good. The next game was the Raiders-Patriots, and what a crazy ending. I mean, it wasn't even real. The Raiders literally won off the Patriots being a bunch of idiots. It's like, I don't think they knew it was a tie game. Why would they pitch it back? It made no sense. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it should have got to that point, though, because the Raiders got a touchdown, and his toe was on the line, and I don't care what you say, that's out of bounds. But apparently that's a catch now. You could be out of bounds, and it could still be a touchdown. So good for them, I guess. And then the last game of the 4 o'clocks was the Chargers-Titans. Chargers going down for a game-winning field goal, and they got it. Justin Herbert was able to drive them down and get it. Good for him. You know, I don't really like him that much, but hey, it's whatever. Titans are slowly going downhill, and they're actually in jeopardy of losing that division now to the Jags because of how well they're playing. But enough of that. We're going to get to the night game, the Giants. Commanders, what a crazy game that was at the end. I didn't watch it, but I saw the ending. Don't worry about it. Yes, the ref sold them. He told McLaurin to move up. He did move up. He checked again. He said he was good, and then they still threw the flag. It was like he was waiting to throw the flag. Honestly, it was pretty sketchy. That didn't look right. And then after that, they ended up getting a no PI call. I mean, he was getting mugged. I think it was McLaurin again. He was getting hugged. He was literally getting hugged when he was going to catch the ball, and they did not call a PI. So I don't know what you're supposed to do. Hey, but both teams I don't like. So honestly, I didn't really care who wins. But my stance on the Giants only winning 7 games is finally over because they did win their 8th. So that's the only sad part about the Giants winning. Other than that, I really don't care because I don't like either team. I want another tie, to be honest. And the final game of the week was the Packers-Rams. Packers won pretty easily. The Rams looked awful. Baker Mayfield is terrible. He only had 111 passing yards. I mean, he's awful. And I'm not even surprised. The Packers win to try to keep their playoff hopes a little bit alive, but I doubt they make the playoffs. I mean, they're not going to win. They're not going to win out. It's not going to be that good. And that's going to do it for Week 15 thoughts and predictions. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment if you like.